Once upon a moonlit Halloween night, a young witch named Wendy decided to bid goodnight to all her favorite Halloween-themed friends. "Hello, Scary Terry the spider," she said with a grin. Terry had spent the day weaving intricate webs to catch moonbeams and stardust. "It's time to say goodnight to Scary Terry the spider." Next, she came across Frankie the friendly ghost, who had spent the day making ghostly faces in the misty mirror. "It's time to say goodnight to Frankie the friendly ghost." In the corner, there was Boo the bat, who'd been flapping his wings high in the sky, keeping an eye on the glowing moon. "It's time to say goodnight to Boo the bat." Down by the pumpkin patch, Wendy found Jack the jack-o'-lantern, who'd been shining his eerie grin all day, delighting trick-or-treaters. "It's time to say goodnight to Jack the jack-o'-lantern." As she continued her journey, Wendy stumbled upon Blake the black cat, who had been running around playing hide and seek with the mischievous spirits. "It's time to say goodnight to Blake the black cat." Then there was Mummy Max, the ancient mummy who had unraveled a bit to stretch and wave at the passing ghouls. "It's time to say goodnight to Mummy Max." Near a haunted tree, she found Spooky the scarecrow, who had been standing guard, keeping the crows away from the pumpkin patch. "It's time to say goodnight to Spooky the scarecrow." In the dark forest, a chorus of squawking crows had serenaded the night with their spine-tingling howls. "It's time to say goodnight to the squawking crows of the Halloween night." Wendy approached Count Countula, who had spent the day counting bats, spiders, and candies to make sure Halloween was perfect. "It's time to say goodnight to Count Countula." In the moonlit garden, there was Howling Henry the werewolf, who had been practicing his spine-chilling howls, adding an eerie soundtrack to the night. "It's time to say goodnight to Howling Henry the werewolf." In the graveyard, Timmy found Edgar the zombie, who had been groaning and practicing his zombie dance for the Halloween party. "It's time to say goodnight to Edgar the zombie." Finally, she arrived at her broomstick and gave it a pat, thanking it for the magical adventures of the night. It's time to say goodnight to Wendy's broomstick. And with a smile and a wave, Wendy said goodnight to her Halloween friends, knowing that they would be back for more spooky fun next year. The Halloween night faded, and Wendy drifted off to sleep, her heart full of the enchantment of the night.